Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here, and who wants a piece of the champ with Machamp? So before I start talking about any of the stats or anything, holy crap, that Pokedex entry can throw 1,000 punches in 2 seconds. This Pokemon doesn't mess around at all. When we look at its stats, that's a good offensive stat. 130 in that base attack. That's going to be really strong to have. Also, Machamp has some really good just overall stats as well. Not too big on the defense or the speed or special attack, but the defenses and hit points give it some really decent natural bulk, and it's really cool because, you know, with these Pokemon that you have to trade to evolve, it really does show that, like, the first generation had a lot of power in it, and that you just need to find the right Pokemon to get to that. Also, Machamp is a pure fighting type, which is an interesting typing defensively, that you have the weaknesses to Flying, Psychic, and Fairy. Used to be a bit stronger back in 5th generation without that Fairy, and then you have resistances with Rock, Bug, and Dark. Offensively, you hit a lot, and you are resisted a lot, but Machamp does have some really good coverage overall, so you're really just going to try to get that stab where you can, and then try to hit super effectively where you can't. Hopping into Pokemon Showdown, which I actually don't have up right now. Alright, so Machamp has a lot of ways to be run. A lot of people will just kind of default to that No Guard Dynamic Punch as a huge combo because it does have great synergy, but we need to look at the other strategies that it has. Guts Machamp is incredibly strong, that when you're status, you gain 1.5 times attack, and if you're burned, the attack drop is ignored. So this means you slap a Flame Orb on it, you go for the Protect, you raise your attack. Now you have an insane level of attack. You can't be burned for any negative status, and you can't be status in general. And now you have like a lot of really strong options up your sleeve. Close Combat for huge amount of damage, Ice Punch for coverage, any other move that you want for coverage could go here as well, and Bullet Punch for priority, and you have a well-rounded Pokemon that hits really well, and can endure a hit back at least, because you like to go 252 in the hit points and attack. Adamant Nature, and with that attack boost, you know, you're going from 200 attack at level 50 to 300, which is close to 600 attack at level 100. That's a lot of power. That's the damages right there. On top of that, we can also think about putting this Pokemon in Trick Room. That's why I was thinking about the Brave Nature if you want to go with that. Trick Room is really good for Machamp since it's a very slow Pokemon. It'll probably be able to use coverage, score KO, or do some insane damage before the opponent can even attack. Next up, we have No Guard Dynamic Punch Machamp. A lot of people just like to run Choice Scarf, that you slam into your foes with that Dynamic Punch, and normally Dynamic Punch has a 50% accuracy and a 100% chance to confuse the target. No Guard means 100% accuracy, huge amount of damage off of stab, and you're good to go with that Dynamic Punch. Also, Machamp's coverage is insane overall. You have Fire Punch, Ice Punch, Poison Jab. You can also go with Earthquake, Rock Slide, like tons of typing coverage from Machamp. Body Slam if you want to be an evasion kind of hitter, that if they use Minimize, you get to get the bonus damage and the pure 100% accuracy on Body Slam. But Choice Scarf is pretty much what you're going to be locked down into, so you need to make sure you make that first move count. Like I said, it's going to be that Dynamic Punch. If you don't score KO faster than your opponent, then they have a good chance of hitting themselves, and you can just repeat the cycle over and over again. With this one, though, you do want to go with the Jolly Nature. Your speed isn't insane, even with that Choice Scarf, but since you have a huge amount of attack anyways, you're just going to kind of wait and see what happens. It's a very reliable setup and a very reliable strategy. As long as, like, the fastest of the faster your opponent's Pokemon are taken down, this Pokemon is going to be very strong for you in the mid to late game, and as a revenge killer. So another Machamp strat, that this is the one I've personally run more than any strat, is Dynamic Punch, Protect, Bulk Up, and then coverage move, generally Ice Punch, with that No Guard, and a Leftovers. So I like going with the more special defensive nature, going a lot of investment into the hit points, balancing out between defense and special defense, and then just becoming a really well-rounded tanky Pokemon. After using Bulk Up, my special defense and defense are really high up. I have a lot from the hit points, and attack really is like just a really strong thing to have. The idea is you throw Dynamic Punch on that first turn. Depending on how much damage you take, you go for the Protect, get free health back, and if they end up hitting themselves, you know you have opportunities for free Bulk Up, another Dynamic Punch or Ice Punch. So it's kind of setting up while they're confused and being tanky the whole time. This strategy also works on Machoke with No Guard, Eviolite, and Eviolite Machoke has a lot of defenses as well, so you can make it work once you start getting those boosts in from the Bulk Up. On top of that, this is just another idea of all the moves that I can use. Power Punch is pretty strong. Knockoff is really good to have. I do think that Bulk Up would be stronger than Power Punch because you already have that fighting coverage. Generally, if you have just Power Up Punch instead of Bulk Up, you're looking for the fighting coverage as well. Knockoff is a good move that it has, Rock Slide, Earthquake, and as talking about the punches, Ice Punch is almost always going to be better than Fire Punch, because against Ferrothorns, that Dynamic Punch hitting super effective is going to be the same as a Fire Punch, and it really only makes a difference with Scizor, and Scizor doesn't threaten you incredibly too much as Machamp, so you don't really need to worry about Fire Punch as much. And Thunder Punch, I feel that you can run other coverage moves like your Dynamic Punch to get a lot more from that Thunder Punch as well. Then we also just have the way that this moveset balances out with whatever you want. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and that's how you use Machamp.